Welcome to Beyond Our Focus. I'm Stefan, this is Amanda, and this is Breaking Prisms for January 15th. Today we're going to be going over The Twilight Zone, Episode 11, from the original run of The Twilight Zone. Today's...
And when the sky opened up.
Yep, and when the sky opened... I think just opened.
Oh,
no,
okay.
no. And when the sky was open is what I wrote down.
So
it's very...
The prompt is wrong.
Maybe that's right. Maybe I wrote it down wrong. I don't. It's an odd name.
Ron Burgundy.
Exactly. Why'd someone put a question mark there? You know he reads it exactly that way. Oh. So this is a very interesting episode. I enjoyed this one. It's one of my favorite episodes we've seen thus far of The Twilight Zone.
I very much enjoyed this one. I love anything psychologically messed up, but...
It was more psychological. It was, to me, everything felt like there was a purpose and a meaning behind it. I didn't feel like the ending did something weird out of place. It seemed to go perfectly along with the rest of the series. It made sense as far as what everything was building up to.
As far as... No, as far as the episode goes... overall, like the psychological thing compared to what was it, the little summary on Netflix, I thought it was going to be just another space one. Like, I thought it was
we never see space
aliens.
We never see an ounce of space in the show.
No, we see the stars once.
Do we look up at them, I guess?
No, like they're behind him when he's talking to his woman. And he's like, rah, 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 and you can just see him twinkling in the back, and then he just disappears into the dark. So, I literally thought it was a balcony. Like, he was just going to, like, walk backwards off the thing, but yeah.
It was questionable. He just kept going backwards. I'm like, that looks like a ledge there, buddy.
Yeah, I know. And then he just turns around and bolts, and I was like, okay, apparently not.
Apparently, they're on the ground level, and he just left. The front door was too much. We just...
The palm tree thingy, everything just made it look like a balcony.
Yeah.
The stars.
It wasn't.
No. Either that or he's just running on air, but...
I don't think so. I don't think he was quite that good.
We open up to him visiting, I think we open up to two nurses, pretty much.
Do we open up to that, or we do open up to the X-20 covered up?
Yeah, we do. We open up to
their ship.
Yes.
Covered in a tarp.
Yeah.
And then we pan, when he's narrating, we see that, and then we pan over to, I guess, the nurses and stuff.
Yeah, these two nurses walk by, and there's this guy kind of, not really hiding, but just kind of like, he's in a weird spot. Because there's the staircase, there's the hallway, and he's just sitting there kind of like up against the edge, as though he's not wanting to be seen, or just, he just looked really weird, but I guess he was having a moment, so... That's probably why he looked pretty weird.
He's having all kinds of moments in this particular episode.
So yes, they stop and they're like, "Oh, hey, like, are you here to see?" I can't remember his name.
I don't remember his name either. I know the friend's name.
Yeah, Ed Harrington.
Yeah, because he said it like a billion times. And somewhere in here, I think I even have his name, but I don't remember his friend's name or the guy in the hospital bed's name.
But they're here. At first, I thought it was going to be. Like a higher up, like he was waiting to see, because how nervous he was, I thought he was going to be talking to someone higher up. So they're like, "Oh, he's been waiting for you," and I'm like, "Oh God."
Room 15.
January 15th.
Yeah, look at there. Maybe that's why 15 looked so familiar when we were starting this off.
Know.
It was room 15, and I wrote down room 15 or door 15. Yeah. So maybe that's why.
So the narrator is pretty much just like. He's talking about how everything's going to change once he opens that door.
Yeah. Well, there's his name. Bill is the guy named in the bed. I apparently wrote it down. Apparently I wrote it down. I forgot what it was, but apparently I wrote it down. So Bill.
And go you.
Yeah, go me.
But now do you remember his name?
The main guy's name?
Yes.
I know I wrote it down in here. Clegg, I know is his last name. That's his last name. I forget what his first name is. I thought I wrote it down too, but I know his last name's Clegg. Or is it Clegg Forbes?
Clegg Forbes?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, that sounds about right, because, So he opens the door, and all hell breaks loose.
No, he's rather upset.
Yes.
He asks good old Bill, when did I leave here? I don't know. Around 9 o'clock, I guess?
It's like, yesterday morning, I left at 9.
Mm-hmm.
Who did I leave with? He's like, what do you mean, who did you leave with? You left here at 9 a.m. It's like, but who did I leave with?
I feel like for no one. Just you, buddy. At some point in this little mid-air, we see the newspaper.
Yes.
That says, 2 spacemen return from crash in desert.
Yes. Because he brings the paper over, and he's like, what does it say? And like, he completely tells it a different way. He kind of says it sarcastically. He doesn't say exactly what the headline says.
No, he doesn't.
Because he likes literally with a dented spacecraft instead of crashing with a slightly dented spacecraft or something like that. And then he's like, how many people are in the picture? It's like, it's us.
It's me and you, bud.
Yeah.
Me and you. We're all people. I don't know this note.
What?
I don't know. I don't even know this part.
Today's going so well.
Yeah.
So pretty much he's like just questioning his friend, like, or his buddy or whatever. He's like saying things like, who was I with? How many people are in this picture? And the guy's like, 2. There's 2 of us. What are you talking about? And he's like, no, there were 3 of us that went on this mission.
Me, you, and Ed Harris. He was 36. He was my best friend.
Yes.
Harrington.
For
Harris.
15 years.
Yeah, for 15 years.
And you knew him for 5.
Exactly.
He's like, I don't know an Ed.
Don't know Ed Harrington. No, I don't know what you're talking about. There were 3 of us. And then before too much longer, we go back.
Yes.
Yeah.
To
the previous day.
Yes, so pretty much he kind of sits down on his friend's bed and it's just like, I've had one hell of a night. Like, just a lot has happened. I think I'm going, like, I feel like I'm going crazy, but I know this man. And then it kind of like, does the weird little wavy thingy.
Yes. Make sure you know, we're going back.
Old school graphics.
We're going back.
Goes back, and here he is in the hospital room with Ed and
Forbes, Harrington, and Bill there, all in the hospital room. Bill still in the bed. Forbes and Harrington both up and ready, about to leave together.
They're cracking jokes and laughing, and everything's
We
fine.
see the paper again, because Harrington picks up the paper to look at it. And this one says, 3 spacemen returned from crash, all alive.
Yes, and it has them in the picture. Ed's right in between the 2 of them. Like, literally how close he is to Bill. Like, we open up and he's like almost like tickling Bill pretty much. Like, they're buds. Like,
They're buds. They've known each other forever.
Yeah, so like, if this kid who claims he has no idea who Ed is, has known him for 5 years and is buddy with him, but just
no one knows. No one knows. So they leave. Then we end up in a bar.
yes, and sorry, that was just slick. Like, you see a woman sitting just by herself at the bar, and you see Ed kind of like heading straight towards her, and then you see Forbes kind of like go around the table and just cut straight through. He's like, nope, and just slides right next to her, and Ed's just like, damn you.
Well, they're cool. They're real cool. I think it's funny. They both get a beer, which I feel like the worst bartender ever. Because he puts the beer, and you look at it, it's like that much beer and that much.
Yeah.
It's like, buddy, I'm pretty sure you're not a bartender. I think you're faking it. I think so.
Well, then on the other hand, it's like, can't just keep giving free beer away? Because the guy's like, well, can I still what did he say? He said something like, well, can I still get beer for 30 cents or something? And the guy...
He's like, it's on the house.
Yeah. He's like, no hero's gonna... Your money is no good here. No hero's gonna be buying drinks.
I just saw him give him the beer, and it's just like, this is the saddest excuse for beer I've ever seen. But all right.
So, yes. And then, of course, he's like... He mentions Hero, and the girl that suddenly wasn't talking to either of them. It's like, oh my goodness.
Exactly. What's it like in outer space? It's like, way out. Was his exact quote. It's like, way out. I'm like, that's that. I mean, that's a solid description. That's space in a nutshell. It's way out.
Forbes got some, game right there. He's just classy.
He was... all right.
Yeah.
Like, y'all, we had no better dialogue right there. That's all we got.
Ed's just kind of laughing to himself, and then he goes to pick up his beer and looks behind the bartender, where I assume is a mirror, because most bars have the mirror along the back. So he's looking up, and he just stops. Yes,
he looks like he just saw a ghost.
Yes, and Ed's like, dude, Forbes, I'm gonna forget his name all day, but Forbes is like, dude, like, you okay? He's like, I just got this really weird feeling. This awful feeling that...
If I let myself go, I disappear.
Yes. And he's like, nope, I'm fine, like, I'm good. And then he hands him his beer, and the beer just goes, whoop. He just drops and shatters on the floor, and the bartender once again is like, oh, that's fine, it's not the only glass in the house. And
real willing to just get another beer. To which the guy decides, I'm going to go call my folks. And heads to the telephone booth in the bar.
Yeah, and Forbes is just kind of like, oh, okay. And then just proceeds to talk to the woman.
Yeah.
And Ed goes in, dials up, and just waits. And a few minutes later, he's like, Forbes,
come over here right now.
Like, you need to come here now. And just like, okay, Ed. So he walks over, and he's like, I just got off the phone with my folks.
Yeah.
And my mom, she says that she doesn't have a son named Ed.
Dad told him not to quit calling around here and bothering his wife.
Don't need pranksters.
Exactly.
He's like, oh, I'm sure it's a practical joke. Forbes
is trying to make I'm sure seems like a practical joke. Everyone does.
Yeah. And just Ed is now distraught and kind of sprawled in the phone booth, and he's just like, I just have this feeling that maybe we weren't supposed to come back.
Yep.
That something let us through when it shouldn't have.
Mm-hmm.
And Forbes is like, I'm gonna go get you another drink, buddy. You're a little, you need a drink.
Just need a drink, apparently.
So he walks up to the bar, and he stops because the newspaper catches his eye. Suddenly, it just says 2. Yeah. It says pretty much two airmen go into space, whatever, and they come back alive. Mm-hmm. And it has the picture of just him and Bill.
Mm-hmm.
And he immediately drops the paper and runs over to the phone booth, and...
it's gone!
Yeah. So he turns around and goes to the bartender, and is just looking at everybody all weird, and is like, do you know what happened to my friend?
I was like, he's like, where's my friend's beer?
Yeah.
It's like, who?
Yeah. You came in alone, bud.
Came in alone? No one seems to remember Ed. Ed is gone.
So he freaks out. He starts yelling at me.
But he got a beer and he dropped it. He looks down, the beer that had been cracked on the ground and spilled everywhere. Gone. Ed's gone.
And he looks right at the bartender and is like, you're crazy.
He flips out just a smidge.
Just a smidge?
Just a smidge.
Really? Because he's flailing the paper around going, you're crazy. Oh, you're crazy.
Because, yeah, they're the ones acting crazy at the moment.
And he runs out of the bar, and I think we open back up at his house, I assume.
Or hotel.
Or hotel.
Or wherever he's staying, I think.
And so he's sitting there and trying to figure things out. And either knock on a door or she just walks in. I can't.
One or the other, I don't know.
But Amy, is her name
Yeah.
Amy?
It has to be his wife.
Yeah.
Makes no sense.
Wife, girlfriend, something or another.
Seems
just
like
his
wife.
girl. His
girl. There we go. Sure.
And she's like, you two-time and blah, 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 blah.
You said you were leaving this morning and to meet you here, and I got there this time, and then it was this time and this time. And
do you know how many bars I've been to? So clearly he's hops the bars, which makes sense now because originally when they were in the hospital, Forbes was talking to Bill, and he's like, no, you know, Ed, just yesterday, or just yesterday morning, you were cracking some joke telling Ed that Forbes needs to stay away from the alcohol and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it was a drinking joke.
So it's like, clearly you might have some issues. So.
There might be some issues.
So he's like, I told you in the telegram that Ed and I were, wait, it's in there. I know it is. So
exactly. I wrote down Ed and I.
So he finds the paper, brings it over to her. He's like, see, I wrote Ed. Ed and I are going to.
To which she asks his wife about Ed. And, well, she don't know any Ed. She don't know who he's talking about.
It's like, my best friend for 15 years. You know Ed.
You've seen him a million times.
Yeah. And she's like, I don't know an Ed. I'm sorry. Like, so she.
To which, well, before she had walked in, he was trying to call someone. And he wasn't available.
Probably, I think the general.
It was general. Yeah. And at this point, I think they call back.
Yes.
And it's the general on the line.
He's like, I'm sorry it's so late. I just wanted to ask you, like, about Ed.
Ed Harrington.
Yeah. He's like, what do you mean, Ed? He says it slow, like 5 times. Like, okay, more like 3 times, but he says it slow, like they're not understanding his words. It's like, no.
Well, he's very confused how someone he knows for a fact exists has disappeared and is gone, and no one knows who he is.
Yeah. So he's like, he just slams the phone down and is like, why does no one remember Ed? And she's like, she just looks at him, and he's like, I get it. I totally get it. And he sits up and kind of just waving his finger. He's like, this is one giant scheme, like some giant prank, like the biggest prank ever.
And Ed's back at the bar waiting.
Yes.
It's like, buddy, you really, we're stretching now. You're really stretching.
And this is the scene we were talking about earlier where he's walking backwards out these just glass, like it's a glass like exit way or something. And there's no doors to it, anything. And all you see is like a plant and the stars. So I automatically assumed he was walking straight off a balcony because he was walking backwards.
And then he just hops over and runs off.
Yeah, just bolts into the darkness. And you're like, oh, well, clearly it wasn't a ledge.
We get to the bar, and he's calling for Ed, and the weirdest thing ever, that he just decides to put himself through the glass door.
Yeah.
He doesn't break it and climb it. No, he just goes through it. I was like, I don't know if you can, like, actually physically do what he did. I think you have to, like, break glass. You don't just walk through the glass. It was weird. It was like...
Well...
He looked like the Kool-Aid man busting through a wall. It was just weird.
Well, he was desperate, and he just, had the whole woman lifting up a car to save her baby thing going on.
I guess it was weird.
So he just breaks in and walks over to the phone booth, and obviously it's empty.
Yeah, he's having like a mental breakdown at this point, calling for Ed.
So he walks out, and it does the weird little woo.
And we go back to the hospital room.
And he's like, I don't know what happened after that. I think I just kept running. And he's like, I don't know what's happened since. And now I'm here.
And then Bill's like, I don't know who Ed is.
Like, I'm sorry, I really don't know who Ed is. And he's just like, maybe Ed was right.
He said something that made a mistake letting us get back.
Yes, he's like, pretty much, something let us through when it shouldn't have. And he's like, the sky just opened up and took him. It took him back. And it's going to happen to us, too.
Mm-hmm.
So he starts to get that long look that Ed got. And he's like, I just have this feeling.
It's like I don't belong. And then he freaks out.
Yeah. He's like, I don't want this to happen. I don't want to disappear. And he grabs Bill and he's like, I don't want to go. And then just bolts.
He opens up the door and he starts running down the hallway, which Bill gets out of the bed, slams and looks out in the hallway, and everyone's gone.
And the nurse walks out and he's like, hey, stop him. And
Nurse comes down there and Bill's like, yeah, Ed, or he goes to try to explain who Forbes is. It's like, who?
Yes, you haven't had any visitors, pretty much.
Exactly.
Just like...
To which we look at the paper again, finally, and it says, Lone Spaceman completes journey, land in desert.
So now there was Bill.
Ed and Forbes, both gone. Disappeared.
So it's like, what is the paper going to say when, Bill disappears?
Interesting to see the paper all together. And then we just kind of pan down the hallway, and we see the nurse, and this military guy walks up, and he's like, I don't remember exactly what he asked. She's like, he's like, do we have any empty rooms? Like, yeah, room 15's available. Or room 15 can take 3 patients. It's empty.
So Bill disappeared.
And it's like, and then they show both of them walk down and open room 15. It's completely empty. No one's ever been there. To which the narrator goes into his little thing, and then we pan back over kind of where the X-20 was, and it's gone.
Someone fixed their mistake.
Yeah. Whatever it was, it never made it back. At least according to everyone.
It's one of those things where it's like, okay, did the paper change to the mission just not existing, or did it change to that it never came back? Like, there was a mission, but...
Probably that it never came back. It would be cool to pan over the paper one last time.
Yeah.
So that he used it so many times throughout the episode.
Yeah.
It'd been really cool to pan over time. No communicate or lost all communication with X-20.
Yeah.
Don't know if there's any survivors or anything like something like that. Like it never came back.
They would have had to have not known who was on the mission though, because these people don't exist anymore. So it would have just had to have been.
Oh, that is weird too. Yeah, they don't exist.
Yeah.
They actually erased them, which is even stranger.
Yeah. So it would have.
It's not that they didn't get back from said mission.
It's just. These people never went on a mission because they never existed. So I don't know how they would do that.
It's a bit much.
It's a lot to think about.
Why didn't you just take them that way? It says they weren't supposed to get back. It didn't say they weren't supposed not to exist at all.
Because then they'd have to go through all the questions of like, oh, where is this person and where'd they go and what happened to them and missing persons, and then he's like, why not just get rid of them all together? No questions asked.
But once you got rid of all 3, it could have been like
you
the
have,
space.
Scully and Mulder looking for them, and it's
just crossover.
Yeah,
crossover potential.
One of our lights went.
Yeah, it's decided not to. Oh, it's back. Don't even know if it can be seen on the camera.
No. It's too bright.
But a pretty cool little episode.
These episodes mess with my head because, like, anything that has to deal with memory or people forgetting people, just like Flight Plan. That movie messed with my head. It's where the woman is on an airplane and she has a daughter, like a little girl, and
the girl goes missing.
Yeah, and everyone says she got on the plane by herself, and she's like, "No, I have a daughter that was on this plane." I don't
remember that episode a lot. I remember just watching it. I remember enjoying it, but I don't actually remember the movie very well.
It was actually a really good movie. And then there's what was it called? The Forgotten? I don't know. There was one where people were literally disappearing, like just vanishing. And this woman was like, I know these people. And everyone's like, we don't. And it did have either some supernatural or alien vibe to it. But just anything that deals with memory just messes with my head. But I love it.
No, it was a good movie. It was a good show.
Good movie.
A good episode. It was a good episode. of
Yay!
the Twilight Zone. Very enjoyable.
Definitely one to watch.
None of these quite have the impact of a Black Mirror episode.
Oh my goodness!
I can't help it. I have to compare it.
No
This was
comparisons.
good. This was
no
good.
No comparisons.
It was good, but it's just not.
This was the Black Mirror of back then. Calm down.
Now, at some point, we've gone over this. Mm-hmm. We're gonna have to. We have to give a review of whatever it's called.
Bandersnatch. Boulder Dash.
That's all I've got. That's it. That's the name of the episode, whether it likes it or not. Bandersnatch.
Boulder Dash is a level in Crash Bandicoot. Okay.
It's a real word too. It means
I know
something.
it does.
It means something.
Just every time you say Boulder Dash, all I picture is Crash Bandicoot running with a giant boulder just chasing him.
We're gonna look it up.
It's also a game.
It's a board game too. We have it.
Yeah.
What's the actual?
I'm dying, by the way, guys.
Yeah, and you're not dying. You're fine.
I will be on the next. This Stefan's replacing me with somebody else.
I think that's impossible, actually. Says noun: senseless, stupid, or exaggerated talk or writing. Nonsense, obsolete, a muddled mixture of liquors.
Yeah, so that sounds about right for that board game. But, yeah, I don't think that describes Black Mirror.
Probably not.
Just throwing that out there.
We will watch Bandersnatch at some point. Somehow. I have an easy, accessible way. You do not.
I do not. It doesn't work on my phone. Friday, I'm probably getting a new phone. That's why I waited so long, because otherwise last Friday I could have just renewed my card. So I waited till this Friday to see if I could just get a new phone, and that way I didn't have this one renewed and have a new one.
Yeah.
So.
Well, that would be nice. Maybe upgrade to something that's not from the 50s.
Yeah.
You're not exaggerating. You're not living, okay?
Yeah, I think your time frame's a little askew.
Well, that'll be good. That'll be good. So maybe next week or the week after. At some point we're going to give you a Bandersnatch. Not next week, because I am too much looking forward to rewatching the next episode of Black Mirror. Next week, San Junipero, Season 3, Episode 4 of Black Mirror.
Not only that, but next week you're also skipping away.
Yeah, it won't affect the show at all. It'll still go as planned as everything.
It affects the show, okay? They know.
They don't know. They have no idea. But I'll be going to PAX next week, or technically this week.
Yeah.
Technically this week. Well, this comes out Tuesday. I'll be leaving Thursday. So.
Yay.
Yay for me. A few days off from work. I'll be over in San Antonio.
Anyway, so it was nice seeing you guys.
Yes! Then we've dragged this on way longer than it should have gone. So.
This isn't our newscast.
We enjoyed it. Thank you for watching. As always, you can reach me at Stars and Travel. Reach Amanda at KZ Pup. Reach the show at
I would shove you out of your
Beyond Our Focus.
I would just whoop.
Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, podcast services, and YouTube.
I'm leaving.
Like the video. Subscribe to the channel. As always. Anything else?
No.
Till next time. Long days and pleasant nights.